All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about a piece of tech that is, well, it's completely changing the game for filmmaking. I mean, imagine building these huge, absolutely stunning digital worlds, but doing it way faster and with teams working together like never before. This really is the new blueprint for how movies get made.
But that brings up a massive problem, right? Just think about it for a second. You've got your character artist over here working in Maya, then you have a set designer using Blender, and oh yeah, the special effects team is cranking away in Unreal Engine. So how on earth do you get all those different pieces made with totally different software to actually fit together into one single seamless world? It's a huge puzzle.
Well, for a long time, the simple answer was you couldn't. Not easily anyway. This whole mess led to what's known as the version chaos problem, and trust me, it's been a massive headache for digital artists for decades.
Just picture this, right? Every artist is kind of stuck in their own little bubble, their own software silo. So anytime they need to share their work, they have to export it, convert it, send it over. It's this constant back and forth, and what happens? You end up with dozens of different versions of the exact same thing. It's a recipe for confusion, data gets lost, and the whole creative process just slows down to a crawl. It was just so frustrating and linear.
And this is where you can really see the massive shift. It's like a tale of two completely different worlds. We're moving away from that slow, clunky, siloed system, the one that's just a mess of version chaos, and we're jumping into a workflow that's parallel and happens in real time. The big dream here? Real, actual collaboration across all different kinds of software, all connected to one single source of truth.
Okay, so how do we actually make that happen? How do we get from chaos to collaboration? Well, the answer is basically creating a universal translator for the 3D world. It's like a common language that lets all these different tools finally understand each other. And that's where OpenUSD comes in. Now that stands for Universal Scene Description. And what it is, really, is a core architecture, a foundation that lets all that different 3D software communicate. Now don't think of it as just another file format, because it's not. It's so much more. It's like the blueprint for an entire 3D scene. We're talking models, animation, lighting, the whole shebang. So, what does this universal language actually get us? Well, a lot. Suddenly, boom, those walls between programs like Maya, Blender, and Unreal just crumble. Scenes and props stop being these static one-off files and become reusable content assets you can use anywhere. It pretty much kills the data loss you get from constantly converting files, and it gives you super precise version control. And you know what that means? It saves a ridiculous amount of time and, of course, money.
But look, having this universal language, this blueprint, that's only half the battle, right? You also need a place for everyone to use that blueprint together. You need a central hub, a workshop, where this digital world can actually live and breathe in real time.
And that's exactly where a platform like NVIDIA Omniverse steps in. The whole point is to create what they call a single source of truth. Think of it as the one place where everyone agrees on what the world looks like. It's an environment where every piece of software, every single artist, is perfectly in sync all the time.
So let's visualize this. Right in the middle of everything, you have the NVIDIA OpenUSD hub. That's your single source of truth. And then all the different teams, creative development, asset creation, post-production, you name it, they're all plugging directly into that one central, totally live environment.
So what's the secret sauce here? How does this even work? Well, the magic behind it is a server system called Nucleus. See, instead of teams having to email or upload these massive, clunky files every single time they make a little change, Nucleus is way smarter. It only sends the changes that were made, not the whole file. So what does that mean? It means an artist in London can see the exact up-to-the-second change made by an artist in Los Angeles instantly. We're talking practically zero lag. It's incredible.
All right, so now that we have the what and the how, let's see how this all comes together to create a brand new way of making movies. It's this totally interconnected 5-step process. So here's the new workflow. At first glance, the stages look pretty familiar, right? Creative development, post-production, but the key difference here is massive. These are not one after the other steps anymore. Because everyone is connected to that single source of truth, things like editing and visual effects can happen at the same time as the actual on-set shoot. The days of waiting for one team to finish before another can start, yeah, those are over.
And the result of this? It completely changes the creative process. You got artists editing the same asset at the same time. A lighting director can tweak something, and the director of photography sees that change on the giant LED wall on the virtual set instantly. The digital cameras and the physical cameras, perfectly synced. It's a completely live, dynamic, creative sandbox.
But believe it or not,
It gets even better. This whole interconnected system, it just so happens to be the perfect foundation for plugging in artificial intelligence at every single stage of making a film. So what's the bottom line here? What does all this actually mean? It's about one thing: speed. This combo of a collaborative platform plus AI is literally shrinking production timelines from months down to weeks. That is a massive, massive leap in efficiency.
And we're not talking about some futuristic fantasy here. AI is doing real work right now. It can analyze a script and spit out a story outline. It can use text-to-image tech to create storyboards in seconds. It can even help make sure a character looks exactly the same from shot to shot. And in post-production, it's doing things like smart asset tagging and even auto-rotoscoping. You know that super tedious job of cutting a character out from the background, frame by painstaking frame? AI is fundamentally changing how a film gets put together, and it's freeing up human artists to be creative.
And all of this leaves us with one last pretty fascinating question. For decades, right, some of the most amazing creative visions were just impossible. They were limited by budget, by time, by the technology we had. But now that human artists and AI can truly collaborate in these incredible shared digital worlds, what stories are we finally going to see? What epic visions that were once just a dream will finally become real?